Little boys, full of energy, funny, and a little bit cheeky too, bursting into each day with a great sense of adventure. And this was certainly the case for Rory Berry, until his parents Josh and Gemma and big brother Hayden noticed that something wasn't quite right. All of a sudden, Rory was unusually tired, weak and off balance, and a single trip to the doctor resulted in numerous tests and scans, and then within 24 hours, the unimaginable. Their precious little boy in surgery and diagnosed with a rare form of paediatric brain cancer. Brave little Rory was in the fight of his life, enduring 68 rounds of chemotherapy, a true warrior. This is Rory's story. So you guys have had a really full-on journey in the last 18 months or so.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that whole journey, because obviously, you know, one day you're going about life, everything's normal, and then all of a sudden you start to notice some things with Rory that are just not quite right.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, you just really tired. You'd fall asleep in the middle, not even in the middle of the day. You sort of wake up at 6 with Hayden and have breakfast, and I'd sort of get Hayden to school, bring Rory back here, and 9:30, 9:45 he was asleep for 2 hours.
What do you mean? When you first got sick?
More. When you first got sick.
We went up, I took the boys up to Sydney for Anzac weekend last year to visit some friends, and we visited my sister and the cousins. And so it was a very busy 5 days. And he'd sort of had a few sleeps when we were up there. I remember he fell asleep on the bus up in Sydney, just coming home from the shopping centre. And we got home, and same thing, he kept just falling asleep, and we thought, oh, he's obviously catching up from the weekend. But then he also started to, he'd sit down, but instead of just sitting down, he'd just instantly lie down on the floor. It was like he always wanted to put his head
on the table.
Put his head on the table, like it was just, he didn't want to be upright. And then probably over that 2 weeks, we started to notice he was a little bit unsteady on his feet. And it progressed quite quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
You remember?
And I went
You remember?
By Mother's Day, so that was 2 weeks later, we were at Josh's parents' house for Mother's Day, and he was sitting on the floor. He'd thrown up that morning, which was quite unusual, and he was sitting on the floor playing with 2 pieces of Lego, and as he went to pull them apart, he fell over.
He toppled backwards.
Even just in sitting.
So even my parents would mention, oh, he looks like he's drunk, like he's...
And that was sort of the thought that was in our head watching him move around. I thought, he looks drunk. And being a physio, I've got a little bit of knowledge of, you know, what the brain does and how it works, and I thought, drunk, that's like cerebellar issues. And I started to think about brain issues, and Josh had taken him to the GP on the Friday, who'd agreed that something wasn't right.
Didn't know what it was, but something's not right. So made an appointment with the paediatric
at the hospital
department at the hospital on the Monday.
Yep.
And we went in there on the Monday
afternoon
about 1 o'clock, and
didn't come home
for 2 weeks. So we sort of got.
Yeah.
They admitted us there and wanted to.
They didn't. You tell me.
And wanted to do testing sort of straight away, and
together
took a CT scan and noticed a build up of pressure in his brain, and they put us in an ambulance and took us up to the Royal Children's that night
to operate on it the next day. And it was when they did an MRI, because the doctors all up at the Royal Children's, they all agreed that he needed a shunt put in to relieve the pressure on his brain, but they wanted to know why.
Well, and some of his other symptoms weren't related to
weren't matching the pressure in his brain.
So they wanted to figure out what else was going on, so had an MRI and showed a tumour in his spinal cord.
And so that was blocking the flow of the fluid, which is why the brain had too much fluid in it and the pressure had built up. So yeah, from 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, we're at the hospital for a checkup. To about 3 o'clock the next day, wasn't it? He was in surgery and having an MRI, and we got this news.
I can't even imagine what that's like. What goes through your mind at that point? Because that's just unimaginable.
It was that point where they took him in for the scan, and they called us and said, "Oh, the doctor wants to speak to you." And it was that point where we were standing in front of the doors,
Waiting for the doctor to come out.
and I just turned to Gemma and said, "I just feel sick. Like you just knew something wasn't right."
I'd been, not that I've been in denial, but I tend to always be very positive. Oh, everything will be fine, And I'd remembered, I'd gone for a run on the Monday morning, and I remembered playing over everything that was going on with Rory in my mind, imagining a scenario where we had to call the family and tell them that Rory needed brain surgery, and that was the worst case scenario I could come up with. And it was only when we were standing there waiting and Josh said, "I feel sick," that I suddenly went, "Why is the doctor coming out?" Normally they call you on the phone and they say, "Oh, everything's gone fine, we'll meet you in recovery." That's usually what they do. And I said, and suddenly it's like all the blood drains from your body and you just feel faint. And then we went in and the neurosurgeon, she just said, "We're doing the MRI." So that he was still under a general anaesthetic at that time, and they'd stopped. She'd come out halfway through the MRI as soon as they'd seen this mass, because then they knew obviously sort of what they had to do from there. And said, "We've found this large mass," and it really is like the world spins, and you're hot and sweaty and feel sick, and I don't even kind of remember what went through my brain. I remember my physical reaction more than my mental process.
Come on, do it.
You don't think it's like all of those posts you see and say, you don't think it's going to happen to you. Other people get cancer, other people get sick, not your family. But
No.
that's not true.
Mine's still here.
And yours is still here.
I swallowed it.
But that's okay.
Because I do like the taste things more. Boom, boom. Daddy! Daddy! Naughty.
Finally,
Yeah.
they come to a diagnosis.
Yeah, so when the doctor told us the diagnosis, and he said, "Don't bother Googling it, because you won't find anything. All you'll find is a couple of papers that I've co-authored," which is exactly right. There's 2 results that you get on Google from his condition, and that's it. It's just, which is the hard part now going forwards. Now having finished chemo and got to the end of the road, we sort of say, "What's next?" or "What could happen?" And they said, "Well, we're not sure. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it." So.
Then you get the news that he actually has to have 68 rounds of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
That's massive.
I went into a meeting with the oncologist and Josh and I both did, with the oncologist and the clinical nurse coordinator, to basically discuss what happened following surgery, where we go from there. And they said, you have 2 options. You can have drug A or drug B. Drug A is monthly, drug B is weekly. Drug A probably has more side effects for a few days because it's kind of a stronger dose, because it's only once a month. And we weighed up sort of the pros and cons of both and decided that weekly, whilst it's obviously much more of an imposition to go to Melbourne every week, at the same time our understanding was it would be less of an impact on Rory, and that was the most important thing. And also long term, the other drug, the monthly drug, had slightly greater chance of more side effects, particularly about reproductive side effects and things like that long term. So we wanted to take the gentlest option we could.
We met another family that was from
Colac.
Well, no, they'd moved to Geelong.
Yes.
And it was their second.
It was their second sort of
round of chemo.
Like they'd done a couple of years ago, because he had a brain tumour that they couldn't operate on. It was just in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
And
he was on this other monthly drug.
But they sort of mentioned, "Oh well, Rory's still got his hair." So it was obviously a gentler sort of drug. But...
And that was why it stretched for such a long period of time. But it did. It seemed impossible. You sort of think, 68 weeks, 16 months, every Wednesday at the hospital, we can't go anywhere, we can't, not that we travel extensively or anything, but you couldn't be more than an hour away from Melbourne. but it just kind of ticked along, didn't it?
Yeah. We still got to go camping at Christmas time. Like
Which was good. We just went
just-
close to Melbourne.
we're closer to Melbourne than we normally would, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't been anywhere else or anything, but it's just kind of, I say it's flown by, but we got into a routine, you know, and probably the last few months became almost enjoyable because we got to know people at the hospital so well.
yeah, you guys build relationships and friendships with different people. And,
Some of the families and the nursing and staff, and Rory, you know, the last 4 or 5 months he's been so focused on what costume he's going to wear every week, and the fact that he turns up every week in a costume, everyone's really excited to see him and us, because what's Rory wearing today?
Yeah, the nurses come out and go, oh, what is he today?
Where is he? You know,
Where is he?
As soon as they see us, they'd want to see Rory, which is really nice. You know, it's really nice to go to a place to have something horrible done, but have people look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. And how important was that connection?
Do it again.
Especially with like the other families and with the nursing staff.
Like really, it's only, I sort of almost felt sad that it's only been the last 4 or 6 weeks of treatment that we got to really connect with some other families, especially families with brain cancer. Like we sort of met a few families earlier on, kids who had leukemia and kidney cancer and other types of cancer, which everyone, I say we're all on a similar path, but it's not the same, to meeting some other families who are going through the same thing as we are, going through the situation where they go through chemo and they have all this treatment and they have surgeries, and at the end of it, their kids aren't cured. So,
Has Mummy said enough?
maybe Daddy's turn to talk.
Hey Rory,
What do you want me to talk
can we talk about Rory's Warriors?
Do you want to come and see the Santa photo?
You want to bring
Do you
it
want
out?
to go get it and bring it out to show Danny?
That would be awesome.
know
Love
where it
to
is?
see it.
Here we go. Oh, here, let's do this bit.
Wow.
Wow,
At the gardeners.
this is you and Easter Bunny.
No,
Oh, sorry.
Santa.
I thought it was maybe it was a tooth fairy. Is it Santa?
Haven't lost any teeth yet. have you?
Santa.
Where is Santa's elves? Oh look, there's Santa's elf sitting right on his knee.
No.
Yeah. Are you an elf?
No.
What are you?
He's a person.
You're a warrior, aren't you? You're a Rory's warrior. Yeah.
The original warrior.
Wow, you are.
Gritty,
the
gritty,
original.
gritty, gritty.
That's true. It says season's greetings from the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne and Kmart. Do you like Kmart?
Come on.
Do you know, I can't walk into Kmart without buying something,
Dangerous.
even if it's just a chomp. Have you ever had a chomp?
No.
No, they're really naughty because they put them right at the register and you have to grab them before you go out.
Right,
But I
so
didn't
it's
tell you
like
that.
that.
Don't tell Mum and Dad that I told you that. Okay.
They exactly heard.
You know what else you could go and find? What about your warrior medal? Can you find your warrior medal?
I don't know where it is.
Can you have a
Because
look?
I would love
It might
to
be
see
in the.
it.
Really?
Do you want to have a look in your oven?
I don't know where it is.
Okay. Maybe Hayden will go.
Hayden or maybe I'll find it. When he was in hospital and he was lying in bed with his neck brace on,
Just
and
after
he
his
wasn't
neck surgery.
allowed to move for a few days,
Boring.
and he just looked up at us and he said,
You just, you know.
"Now I'll never win a medal." And I just remember going, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
Can't find them.
what a thought to pop into a 4-year-old's head." And I remember thinking, I don't know, And I told my mum this because Hayden's got a few medals from doing kids running races and things, and I told my mum about it. And when we got home, it came in the mail, this medal that was to Rory the warrior for bravery. And that was sort of what was behind, when we were not trying to think of a name, it just sort of, it seems logical that we're all going to be his warriors. And then my mum helped come up with the idea for the logo as well for Rory's Warriors, so it sort of all fit in together. But,
Engine.
yeah, and it kind of just grew from there. Yeah.
At what point did you think, we want to do something? What can we do?
So, right after he'd had his spinal surgery, we I think Josh was reading a book about someone doing an Ironman and someone having cancer and doing an Ironman, so a big triathlon. And Josh sort of said, I could do that. And I was thinking, I said, I want to do something. Not right now, but when the time is right. I said, I want to do something, some sort of event that we can fundraise for. And for me to feel comfortable asking people for money, which is effectively what you're doing, I wanted it to be something, you know, bigger and better than I'd ever done before. So that was where I thought of doing the marathon, and Josh did Geelong Half Ironman in February. We weren't quite organised enough with our Rory's Warriors clothing and fundraising page and everything. So he did it. He did it kind of as something he wanted to do, a symbol.
A bit of a focus too, yeah.
Because Josh had never done anything like that before.
Hayden, he doesn't have to go on the runway. See?
You can take off from the front.
I think you could probably answer better, but the whole time Josh was out there training and doing the race. You know, Rory's your motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
And you can open the button.
That was part of the, you know, if he's got to go through 68 weeks of this now, and who knows what for the rest of his life, then we can all go through a bit of pain.
He goes straight down.
In the
But if
process.
you go to the side.
So yeah, Josh did the Half Ironman, and then we did the Great Ocean Road Marathon, and I knew I've got a few friends who run as well, so I sort of put it out there to see if anyone else was interested, and I think we had about 15 of us.
15 or 19, yeah.
50, yeah, something. People who ran different distances on the weekend, who all very enthusiastically jumped on. Even people we didn't even know wanted to run as part of our team, which was amazing. And we thought that would be the end of it, but it wasn't.
I've just put another order in for
Yeah.
because people are like just going, hey, have you got jumpers?
Yes. So the original, we did running singlets and the jumpers, because we knew it would be cold in May.
Yeah.
And my parents came over for it as well because they're in Perth, so we got them jumpers so they could wear, and our friend Sandy got a jumper. She came along and helped out for the weekend to support. And it was just going to be something so we all had a team outfit. And then a lot of people asked about the jumpers and said, oh, I love the jumpers, they look great, you know, are you going to get any more? So, well, we can.
We did a batch,
So we did a batch of just jumpers, and then after that people asked again for I missed out on the order, I was too slow, can I order a jumper? And we thought, well, we'll do some t-shirts for summer. And then by then we'd already sort of lined up that we were going to do Connor's Run, which is the big fundraiser for the RCD Foundation. Okay. And again, we had a lot of people say, oh, can I do it? Even people at school, some of the mums at school who weren't runners at all, but they wanted to walk it, which, you know, it's because it's an untimed event and it's all about having fun. It's not about racing. So we had all these people join in and be part of the team as walkers and fundraise, and our next door neighbour joined in, and both our next door neighbours joined in actually. Neighbour here and our neighbour there both came and did the event. It was, and so we ordered more clothes, and then more clothes and more clothes. I know.
And then we did a batch of singlets, but we also did beanies for the RCD Foundation.
So the RCD Foundation was selling beanies. So I sold about 100 beanies.
And I got one.
And you've got 2 beanies. So
with all those, something out for summer.
All those proceeds going to RCD Foundation as well. So it's kind of, people still come up to me and say, are you still selling the beanies? I'm done with the beanies.
Can't we go outside now?
Well, you can go outside. We'll come outside in a minute. Okay?
It's a bit too sunny to do the filming out there.
Okay.
What do we need to do to film?
Oh, so that we can show everyone that you're the bravest.
Yeah.
That's why.
We're going to tell the whole world that you're the bravest.
Because you're amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
They already done it.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows you're the bravest. You picked the right colour shorts today.
They match your shirt.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Even the texture on your leg.
And then I guess the response we've had, not just people asking for the clothing, but people sending me a message saying, oh, I saw someone in the supermarket wearing your jumper, and we started talking, and these people who didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see people are taking photos of themselves in their Rory Warriors gear on top of Ayers Rock, or in Sydney, or in Perth, or in Adelaide at the football. We're wearing our Rory's Warriors, which is, I just think that's fantastic. Like, whether it starts a conversation or not, whether people actually read what's on the back of it or not. It's out there,
Yeah.
which is amazing. I had another lady send me a message and said, "Oh, I went to Ariston in my jumper, or her childcare centre to pick up her little boy, and she was wearing her Rory's Warriors jumper, and someone else said, oh, Rory's Warriors, we know Rory's Warriors," and they started talking about it. Yeah. So just for that fact alone, that it gets the conversation happening, is brilliant.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether we fundraise any money through it or not, it gets people talking about it.
Even the connections in that moment, reminding people of the good that's going on in the world amongst the biggest heartbreak. And now you're finally at a point where Rory's finished 68 rounds of chemotherapy. You're heading into summer.
Yep.
There's sunshine. People are coming around you with smash cakes
Yep.
for the boys' birthdays and
Yep.
you know,
Even though they're not smashed
all of
cakes.
that. They're not actually
Well,
cakes.
it wasn't actually a cake, was it? No.
But lollies and chocolate, I mean, I think that's pretty good compromise,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it
Hey?
is.
And you get to whack it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where to from here?
Rory's getting his wish with Make-A-Wish
Make-A-Wish
Foundation.
Foundation.
So we're going to meet that man.
How?
Yeah, at his castle up in Sydney.
Wayne Manor, yeah.
So we're just excited to be able to all get on a plane together and go somewhere. So that's pretty fantastic.
A plane, yeah.
Yeah, a plane. I know it's been a while. So, you know, we're hoping to go to Adelaide for a week in January camping, which we haven't been that far for ages. So and just having that little bit of time spare that we're not going up to the hospital anymore. That's exciting.
Yay.
Rory being able to actually go to school 5 days a week. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Stop Rory.
So there's lots of really exciting things, and trying to hopefully having a little boy who's not quite as tired, or maybe
Run down or
not getting fevers or ear infections or anything that really affect what we can do as a family. To be able to just be a regular family on the weekend and say, let's go to the beach.
We'd like to honour you guys as a family. We'd like to honour you, Rory, but this has been your journey, buddy. And you are super strong, super awesome. We just love you to bits. Hayden, you've been the best big brother, because that's pretty tough for you too sometimes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And you just love your little brother.
Yeah.
I sense you love stirring him up a bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleaning the table.
You're just cleaning the table.
That's unusual.
That's awesome. You can come to
You're
my
cleaning
house after you
something?
finish that if you
don't
like.
clean.
No, you don't clean.
Yeah.
You make the mess.
Yeah.
We
Makes
said
the best way it doesn't clean it up.
every week we say to Rory, you're so brave and you can do this. And usually when it came to needle time, and most of the time he'd turn around and yell at us and say, no, I'm not. But we know you are. Okay?
That's it. And you look at that and you say, you guys are not only looking after Rory and Hayden, you're holding down jobs,
Sometimes. Haven't been there much lately, but yes.
running marathons, raising
Yeah.
money for paediatric brain cancer. That's huge. And I know you put up on social media
It'd
recently.
be nice to have a chat
Why?
outside.
Should we move outside?
Do you
Do you
want
want
to
to do
sit
that?
outside? Yeah, that's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
Sure. Are you going to bring your toast? Yeah, good idea.
All right, let's go. It's on social media. Like a few weeks ago, I remember there was a post that went up and it said something along the lines of, I don't know how you do it. And you said, well, you just do it. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. And you do just got to do it. But you guys have done it in spectacular fashion.
Thanks.
And you haven't had a lot of time for breaks and all of that kind of stuff. So we thought, hey, we're going to get behind you guys and honour the very first Bravest, Rory. So Rory, we've got a special certificate for you. And it says, what does it say? Can you read it? Can you put it in there?
Hayden can help.
Rory Berry is the bravest.
You're the bravest, mate.
Pretty brave, aren't you?
That's awesome. So if you want to,
Thank
you
you.
can put that in a special frame on your
Yeah,
wall.
we can do that.
It shows you the favourite.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And do you guys like
Oh, you guys don't like lollipops, do you?
Do.
I'll eat them.
No, we
No,
like
you can have lollipops.
Thank you.
And Rory, we've got something special because you're the bravest.
Hold your.
Hold it here.
I'll remove that so it doesn't get covered in honey.
We've got a special t-shirt for you, and only people that get nominated as the bravest get a t-shirt. So you're the only person in the whole world at the moment that's got one.
Wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now we've got another special couple of surprises, just little ones.
Yeah.
We thought not only do we want to come behind you, but there are people in the
That's
community
great.
that are just so inspired by what you guys are doing, and that want to just give you guys an opportunity to be normal and have a break and do all of that stuff. So Bruno's Pizza in Lara
Yep.
are donating pizzas for you guys. So you can have a pizza night. You can either go in or they'll deliver them. And you can just order from their menu, and they're going to have them delivered, or they'll serve you at their
Right.
tables.
Great.
And we also have had a chat with our friends down at Wye River Big Four,
Yep.
and they've donated a family cabin for you guys
Oh, lovely.
for a weekend away. And there's
Fantastic.
lots of fun stuff you can go and do down there. You can
Stay
go
down there.
fishing, you can go and stay down there and play at the beach.
Do you like
Wow.
camping?
Yes.
Yeah.
We love camping.
And do you know what
We
else
haven't been
they've
all
got?
year.
They've got go-karts.
Oh wow!
Yeah, race around in the go-kart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And so this is all on the Geelong community. You can go zip lining down there,
Wow.
yachtways, and
You like
lots of
that.
stuff. And you know what? We might even have a
It's like a
chat to a
big
few more
flying
people and see if
fox.
there's more
Yeah.
things that we can visit
Oh,
up for
thank
you
you.
guys to
That's
make that
wonderful.
weekend special when we know
Yeah.
where you're going. So
That's great.
there's your
Thank you.
voucher for the weekend. And
Great.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
yeah, thank you for
Being
being
down
brave.
there. I can open it. Lollipops are very tricky, aren't they? There you go.
So what colour
I'll
makes
chop it
your
open
tongue
for you.
turn, Rory?
What happens when someone walks after you?
Yummy.
Like,
Good
you went to work
lollipop.
for the first- Hopefully we can do some more beach this summer.
Yeah, that's you.
Like me.
To make a statue.
Make a
Statue like
statue.
mummy. Out of sand.
Would be impressive. I'd like to see that.
Maybe Berry, I'll see.
Bury you in sand up to your neck.
Yeah.
You'll have to send us lots of photos when you go down the way to the beach on your holiday.
I just gonna look at it, like, turns white.
Yeah. Shows your tongue.
Changes colour. What colour is it?
Bit blue.
Blue.
A little bit.
Yeah, bit blue.
Yeah.
Hey, Hayden, look at my tongue.